So Christmas is nearly upon us again, and we've been sitting around chatting and going, what on earth are we going to do with 18 hours of programming nationwide on Newstalk ZB? We've got Newstalk ZB and Radio Sport, so it's a huge audience. It's 300 and something thousand listeners across the day, and it's a lot of time to fill, but we've got some great presenters. We've got a huge lineup actually of people this year, including a bunch of new people, and yeah, we'd like to tell you all about it. I think we put a lot more effort into the day than they would, because for them it's a commercial-free day, and all of their superstars are not available on that day. They would be bringing in the B team or the C team, and that it would just be, let's get through the day. Whereas we go, here's an opportunity to shine. We've got the world's greatest story to tell. We go all out. We spend weeks and weeks pulling it together. We get great people and great talent and great stories, and we really polish it and try to make it shine. And so it's a day where there's enormous amounts of effort being put into a day's programming, and so it does. It works really well. The audience loves it. The radio station loves it, and they keep asking us back.
I think the thing that's so exciting about the Christmas show, as opposed to the other shows that we produce throughout the year, is that it's the time when it makes the most sense to talk about Jesus. So one of the phrases that we use is that we try not to crowbar Jesus into a place that it seems really unnatural for him, because I think that just turns the listeners off. And it's so easy to just switch off your radio or change channel and stuff. So we don't want anybody to have that kind of response to our show. We want to keep them engaged and to prompt thinking and prompt just, I guess, emotional responses as well. So I guess the fact that it's Christmas Day, you've got an excuse. You're like, all right, you can just be bold about it and say we're talking about this because it's in the public square right now.
I think that one of our challenges as communicators of the faith is to get beyond the Christmas card version of Jesus, where you have away in a manger, and there's a picture of the camels and the star and the manger, and everyth's
and
kind
of a bunch of chubby little angels.
Yeah, and it's all perfect and
it's
clean and pristine. And you've just had a few weeks of wandering around the warehouse listening to Mary's boy child Jesus Christ was born on Christmas Day by Boney M, and to then go, this is rooted in something that really happened. It's really real and it's really life changing. But it wasn't the Christmas card version. It was dirty, and it was noisy, and it was smelly, and it was gritty and real. And it happened within the context of a political landscape. And there's all this stuff going on that people may have really never thought of. So we can dive into that stuff in all sorts of creative ways and straightforward ways. So it might be talkback, but it might be within the context of something like Newstalk BC. So we've done this program where we transport listeners back in time to the day of Christmas 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem. We're a radio station in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago, and we're imagining this world, and we're imagining what talkback would sound like on that day, and we're saying what would be the talk topics of the day. And it's not just the bright light in the sky. It's there's a census going on, and there's the Roman oppression going on, and there's all of this stuff. And it's a real world where real people lived, and coming into that world comes this baby, and an expectation that the baby would somehow liberate the people from Rome. That's not on the Christmas card version, but the Christmas card version gives us a way into that story, and we can then unpack that for people and talk about the significance of all of that. And that's a very Newstalk ZB-ish kind of thing to do. It's a natural thing to do, but you couldn't do that in June, but you can do it on Christmas Day.
I think the general public listening to a Christmas carol in the supermarket wouldn't necessarily be struck by the flesh and bones that God put on and entered into our world. They wouldn't be struck by the reality of it or the grittiness of it. I think the Christmas carols have become, just part of our culture. They're just another element alongside Santa and the elves, and so it's an interesting thing where we're celebrating Christmas and we get the magic of Santa and we get all this stuff, but then we get the opportunity to take something that to many listeners is just another kind of fable and go into it and say, well, this is grounded in reality and grounded in history, and explore how that actually changed the world. It's that whole concept of incarnation that you can have all these lovely ideas, but if they don't actually get worked out in practical, with skin on, they're just a resounding gong, clanging cymbal.
And I think that the prevailing attitude of the general public is probably that, okay, that's right, it's Jesus' birthday, but and we sing these songs and we have these Christmas cards, and this year it's going to be on the stamps as well. The New Zealand Post stamps have got nativity images as well, which is nice. But I think the prevailing attitude is that this is a myth, this is a fairy tale, and it's in the same sort of set as the Tooth Fairy or whatever. But then we bring out Ben Carson or Jeff Talon or someone who's like an epic scientist or a brilliant philosopher or a John Lennox or somebody like that who's one of these great thinkers, respected people for their academic achievements and so on, and they say Jesus is real. Jesus has made a difference in my life. This is not just a fairy tale. This is rooted in history, and it's an ongoing reality. And I am a Christian, and I believe in this stuff. And so people are like, oh wow, that's quite arresting. It's not just a Christmas card and a Christmas carol and a myth. It's a reality. Something I'm excited about this Christmas is the number of new presenters that we have. We've got several new people. So there's Ruben Bradley's doing a sports show talking to well-known sporting celebrities from the year. Catherine Sylvester, TV presenter, who's doing part of the kids show, along with Levi Guyan, my 11-year-old, who's going to be the kid presenter, presenting the whole 3 hours of the kids program along with Frank and with Catherine. And Jihan Casanada, who's a TVNZ reporter, who's going to be doing a Christmas Eve show, 4-hour Christmas Eve show, very sort of newsy, looking back at the news of the year and some of the stories behind the stories. And so having 4 new presenters as part of our lineup, alongside the experienced guys like Ian Grant and Rob Harley and John Cooney and so on, is pretty exciting. So it's nice having that balance of fresh and experienced. And it just goes to show that the whole thing is being rejuvenated and kept fresh, and I'm excited about working with a bunch of new people with new ideas. Just sitting with Catherine and Frank and Levi the other day, this is a program that won New Zealand Radio Awards Best Children's Program for the year last year, doing it again and trying to come up with new ideas for the Christmas show. And Catherine said, the biggest movie of the year was Frozen. And there's all of these Christian ideas in Frozen. It's unbelievable how much wealth of sermon material is in the movie Frozen. And so we thought, how can we use some of those themes and link them back into the Christmas story and the story of love that Jesus brings. And so we've done this whole script where we're interviewing a character from the movie Frozen and using that, because the kids will just get it straight away, boom. And then we're trying to use these sort of modern entertainment cultural ideas like Santa and Frozen and whatever's around. We'll use it, man. We'll use the whole lot. We don't have a problem with Santa. We'll use them. We've got this fantastic Santa who's telling the kids about Jesus. It's fine, and it works, and it's entertaining and exciting. And having these fresh presenters is just sort of injected a whole bunch of new life into the show. So that's our plans for Christmas Day. We're really looking forward to it, and I've got to say it's such an amazing blessing, really, to know it's not just the production crew. There's a huge cloud of witnesses behind us who are supporting this financially, and it doesn't happen without money, but it's a great investment. We're talking 300,000 plus people across 18 hours for really what's very little. We need to raise about $18,000 to make this happen, so that's good bang for your buck. That's why we do it. It's the greatest story ever told, and what a privilege to be able to share it with so many people. So if people can give financially again, as they have done faithfully for so many years, what an amazing opportunity. We're just really, really grateful for their support. So that's it, Christmas Day 2014. Happy Christmas.
Tune in.